Muggsey. It's time. We've got her running now. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the Paragon series. It's Muggsey, and well, we've got ourselves an Ichthyornis on the run. Like we were talking about in the last episode, I was thinking this would be a good tame because this is gonna be a high babysit tame, even at a level, I think she's a level 25. She's gonna take probably 2 hours all to herself. I don't want to knock her out right there, because she'll get stuck in that little cleft, and I won't be able to reach her. Yeah, this is a good spot if she's not bugged. Oh, the music keeps coming in and out. She seems like she's bugged. That's 3-ish. Let's see here. Thump. Okay, that was that thump. Alright, good. She's out. If you haven't figured it out, if you haven't played Ark, or if you have been playing, you probably realize that Ark is basically perpetually an open access game. Lovely game. The devs have done a wonderful job, but it is not perfect, and basically it's buggy. Always has been. Some of the most frustrating things about the game happen because the game doesn't cooperate sometimes. But, well, anyway, watch her torpidity there. See how fast that's just ticking? She is a high maintenance tame. We also have this little girl out. I figure it was time to get Dude a real woman, level 115 female. So we have our Dudette. I also want to get maybe one more of those. We'll have our set of 3 for the dodos. That'll be plenty of eggs from dodos. But yeah, we're kind of on the run here. We've got to get some narco berries on the Ichthyornis. We're coming over here by our Terry. Terry's fine. Right where we were in the last episode, just maintaining her torpidity. But this torpidity on the Ichthyornis is going to be dropping fast. Not unmanageably fast, but fast. It's back and forth a lot like the Terry. That's why it's a good pair with the Terry tame. But we're in need of fish meat at this point. We could go fishing for fish meat with just regular spears. That'd be fine, but we're about to get into a base building phase very soon. So I think it's time to stop sitting on these engrams and go ahead and get our metal tools and a crossbow going. Anyway, she's about 50%, so I've got just a little bit of stuff to make sure these guys are stabilized. We're going to check this drop, and we'll bring you back once we're on to getting some tools made, and we'll go fishing. Alright, so we're back. We've got the Dudette has popped up. I've got her back at the base now, and we've gone to get Tuck and a whole bunch of new narco berries, and all that's distributed. And now we're trying to make our little pen, and I don't want to use more than one wall over here. I think that will close it. That will definitely close off that side. So, I'm going to come around and just leave a slight opening on this side and get a torch in there. You've seen the deal a couple times now. So if you're familiar with the Ichthyornis and what they do, it would have actually been nice to have this done prior to the Terry tame, for the fact that they can yield access to prime meat from dodos and such, which we will show once we got this girl tamed. But sadly, the tame is going to time out where it just won't even be necessary for our current Terry tame, because she'll have already basically gone through her entire process of losing all taming effectiveness by that point. But had we followed a typical progression curve, we would have gotten the Ichthyornis first and been able to have that. That does not mean that the Ichthyornis is going to have no purpose. You know, the real reason I tend to like to get them is obviously for the fact that their golden fish are effectively kibble for otters. And so she is going to still serve a purpose alongside the fact that we will likely have... honestly, I haven't made the decision whether I'm going to do terror birds or if I'm going to do Ichthyornises for tier 3 or baryonyxes. Baryonyxes are an awesome choice for tier 3 as well. We'll make that call when the time comes. But yeah, I think she's pretty much stable. Everybody's stable. So it's about time to get back and start making some tools. And we're back at base. I've got a wooden foundation stored in here, and I'm just going to pop it down. This is where we're going to probably put our temporary crafting station, which is just going to be the big three: mortise and pestle, which we have right here from a green drop, and the smithy and forge. Well, forge and then smithy in that order. But they're all going to be, I try to put them just kind of over the edge of the foundation, just to kind of run up and use without having to hop up onto the foundation. So we need stone. You also might notice in my inventory there was a compost bin. That is coming from those green drops. It's another engram I just don't learn typically, just because you only need about 2 to 4 of them ever. Because once you get a dung beetle, the compost bin effectively becomes obsolete. So yeah, I just get those from green drops, and I don't. That's an engram I bypass. So anyway, forge, we're going to pop down here, like I said, about half on, half off this foundation. And that way you can just run right on up under it, or if you get an Anki over here, you can ride the Anki right up to it. Dump, go, all that. We need some wood. I'm going to leave that metal smelting and go check our tames. Once all that's done, we'll be back. We'll craft up our smithy and tools and go a-fishing. Be right back, guys. Alright, we should have enough metal now to finally pop into this smithy. Now, as you can see, we have crafted up our basic metal tools. We will never have to use stone tools again. But we should have now the resources to craft up the crossbow. I will ultimately get 2 crossbows, but for now, let's just pull the bows off the bar and manually remove our ammo, because waste not, want not. And then the crossbow basically will be the only ballistic on our bar for the time being until we get into a rifle. Crossbow never becomes obsolete, however, because for most of your underwater tames, it's going to be the crossbow, unless we just want to do some experimental stuff with the harpoon, which I've never liked using. But yeah, we are currently, I think, officially shaft. Let's go fishing. Alright, so carrying this around, you may feel a sense of euphoria, a sense of nigh immortality, because the game becomes immediately just essential at the point that you get the crossbow. And you can basically kill just about anything without a hitch, and you will not... So this is a perfect opportunity to explain why I've never put a bed down, because you will pretty much always spawn, if you happen to die for any reason, on this beach where you started. And so it's just not imperative to put a bed down, because, you know, you can die in the game, even with a crossbow. So, anyway, guys, we are about to go fishing, and that experiment in manta hunting did not go well. So we're going to try that again, and hopefully the mantas act the way mantas are supposed to act, which is they're a lot like the bullies from 1980s movies. They want to run up and they want to bite you and be like, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as you hit them back, they run. They're a bit cowards like that, and so they're actually not difficult. Oh, check this out. You need the crossbow for doing this because you can't draw the bow under the water. Same thing with firearms. You can't, for obvious reasons, can't use a rifle or something underwater. So we use the crossbow. So basically, the dance with the manta is you shoot them, you try to get back up on too shallow of water, and then they want to run away, and you just rinse and repeat the process, and they'll continually keep getting angry with you and coming closer and then running away until they're dead. And they're actually a phenomenal source of raw meat right up front. You'll see, I think level 5 here. One of these is level 5, and you'll see we'll get quite a bit of fish meat just off of this level 5. So 13, so 30 plus raw fish meat off of that level 5 manta. So they're an excellent yield, especially when trying to gather a lot of fish meat quick. Once you get a baryonyx or a megalodon or something, just hit a bunch of mantas and you get just hundreds of raw fish. Of course, if you get a mantis and you get megalodons, and megalodons give you more. The ever-present bumpers. The dolphins don't give raw fish meat. They give regular raw meat. And if you want to get rid of them, just hit them. They'll run away. But otherwise, they're coded to actually come up and be curious while you're around them, and therefore take a kibble or a raw fish that you want to feed them, and then their taming process begins. But they are a pain in the butt with just raw meat, or raw fish meat, as it were. I think we're going to take out this last mantis. So here, watch this. Watch. He's going to hit me, but then he's going to want to run away as soon as I get to shallow. And then probably if I had just hit him one more time, he'd run away too. But now that it's running, it should not be difficult to just kind of passively take him out, because he's just not going to target us anymore, and a few arrows later, he'll be dead. So, excuse me. This is it, though, the fabulous process of going fishing in Ark for just regular raw meat. Now, were we to have a sickle, we could go down to the lagoon area where there's some salmon and likely fillet off a few raw prime fish meat from the salmon. But I just don't think it's going to be worth it for the level 25 Ichthy. Notice also in the water, especially, like, you'll notice some portions of the water, and I don't have access to the wireframing and where they've got this, but like this little section of the water coming through this little inlet is always like freezing cold for some reason. So if it's a heat wave up on top of the hill, you can usually come down into this little section of water and be fine through the duration. So anyway, this manta is dead. We're gonna get, let's see here, same deal, lots of meat. I think we are set, so let's go take this over and get it put onto the Ichthy. And I think she's got all the meat she's going to need to go ahead and tame up. Now, she won't tame up completely yet, but it'll get her on the way. You'll notice I do that right there. When, when laying down, pressing the X button, your stamina recovers very fast. And so you'll see me just sprinting along. I'll be out of stamina, and then I just immediately press X, lay down, and the stamina just goes zoom. And then you can sprint some more. So we are back at the Ichthyornis, as it is, the seagull. And look at that torpidity, man. Yeah, they drop lightning fast. So if we had spent just a couple more minutes probably out there in the water, she might have woken up. But we've got her fish on her, and so let's come back over here and check the Pteranodon, see where she's at, because I may be ready to put meat on her. I'm not sure yet, but she could probably starve out a whole other hour from here But at this point, see, I was hoping to get down there about to the one of the O's in food, but it's not really going to make a difference because at this point we're not really going to be taking on any other tame prior to this completing. I might get another dodo while we're waiting, but other than that, I'm not taking on anything else that's going to require any more actual babysitting until after we're finished with this pterodon. And there are a couple things, at least one other thing I do. I want to get us. We've been walking by them this whole time, but if I see a good parasaur around, they're another pretty quick tame, and I might tame or pair a parasaur with this process here. And then I would feel like all of our primary early game tames would be accomplished prior to starting the base build. So at this point, we are at the. See, I did not go up as high as I thought. This girl's got another hour and a half, so I doubt you want to sit around and stare at this for another hour and a half. Why don't I bring you guys back when there's a little something else to see? And it has indeed been a bit, but we are back and she is just about to hop up. So in the interim, we did find another dodo. Nothing particularly special. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all, but we'll introduce you to the whole family in a little bit. But sun is rising and she's about to hop up any second now. There she is. What do you call your ichthy but the jerk? That's right. Because they do really annoying things. I tend to put them early on no hunting so they don't go. A lot of times they'll just go crazy. She looks cool, man, with that green. I think I may have gotten an Easter ichthy, but she's great looking. And what the heck? Okay. Well, so add to the list of reasons why ichthyes are annoying, they apparently just kind of go and do their own thing, even when you turn no hunting on. But, so she's trying to hunt right now, but she has no hunting, so she's not going to bring me anything. For some reason, she's actually. Do you see that? She's aggroed onto that parasaur. That is weird. And oh, I meant to. I was going to show you guys this later. I didn't mean to show you this, but I think we have found our parasaur. This little booger was hiding over here the whole time. Well, probably one of the newer spawn-ins, but 144 Tek Parasaur, yes please. We'll explain Parasaur a little bit later. For now, we're going to run over here and check. Gosh, that is beautiful, isn't it? Man. Check the Parasaur. She's doing okay. She's not quite ready, so once I get... We're just going to look. See, she's probably got another 30, 45 minutes left, so what we're going to do is go show off the terror bird of the seas here and show you why we got her and what she's going to be good for. So bring you back in just a couple minutes. Alright guys, so why have I been going so gaga over this Ichthyornis? Well, first you need a campfire and some wood. And you need your Ichthyornis on your shoulder. Make sure that the Ichthyornis is set to hunt and retrieve. And make sure, at least I like to ensure, that they are on attack your target. Now, what you want to do is come up to something that would normally never give you prime meat, and you want to point at it. Luckily, we left this 100 Listro. And upon pointing at it with your crosshair, it's easy to use something like a crossbow or a bow. Anything that gives you a crosshair, just point at it over the model and double press F. That will release your shoulder pet. Also try R, but I like double F on the keyboard. And what they'll do is what the jerk is doing right now. It has taken the Listro and turned it into a golden goose. As you can see, it is now shiny and goldy. And we're going to pick up the jerk, and we're going to pick up the listro that is now the golden listro. Now there's something fancy that happens here. A Lystrosaurus is just a Lystrosaurus, right? They'd never give you anything special. But upon being killed by the Ichthyornis, as you can see, what did it just give us? Raw prime meat. That is right. The Ichthyornis allows us access to prime meats from otherwise sources that would never give you prime meat. So in our quest for things like Mo shops, we've now opened up several different food options for the Mo shops that we did not have. There's the cooked raw prime meat, or the cooked prime meat. Then there's the raw prime meat. Now on top of regular prime meats, we need to find us a fish, preferably a salmon, but it doesn't. The Ichthyornis doesn't really care. Just it needs to be a good quality fish in terms of its level or quality, and we'll go over that later when we get into actually fishing with a fishing rod. But oh, good, we've got a salmon. That makes it a lot easier. But understand that we do have a low-level ichthy, so it can have trouble getting the prime. You know, the higher level, the better quality stuff it's going to bring us, right? But the salmon tends to have a higher chance of giving you the prime anyway, so this is perfect. We're just going to back on up to our campfire and let the jerk bring it to us. And pretty much guaranteed off of salmon, we're going to get at least one prime fish meat. So first we have to do the dangle dance. Dangly dangly. And then, look at that, 3 raw prime fish meat off of that salmon with a pick. No sickle required. So as you can see, the ichthy is tremendously valuable for early game taming. Now the raw prime fish meat you just see, you put it on your bar, that's actually what the Mo chops are tend to going to want to eat. The cooked prime fish meat, it had use back in the old kibble system. I don't know that there is a particular use for cooked prime fish meat anymore. But it's cool to have. You know, but there's your 2 primes, regular raw fish, prime fish, and then we could get some raw prime meat and have all the meat varieties aside from mutton with us from the Ichthyornis. And we've got a level, I think, tamed out to a 26. She's got a couple levels now. I'm obviously recording this a little bit later. Yeah, I gotta look cool, man. You can't look cool with a pick. Gotta have that crossbow out. But that's it. That is what the Ichthyornis does for you. They are absolutely worth the trouble for the worlds that it opens up for you without need for a high potency carnivore for going out and killing prime meat givers. So a little poop to get it done, and we are back and gonna go finish up this Terry tame, and then I think the episode will finish off on the Parasaur I showed you, and we'll be on to the next episode of basically the base building. I'm excited, guys, but anyway, see you in a minute. And I think the moment has come. 4 hours and some minutes later, our P-tero, the Pteranodon, is about to pop. There she is. Well, what do we call our first P-tero? But I'm going to go with Mach 1, I think. And that's appropriate, right? Mach 1. There we go. First Mach. So, anyway, well, I'm not sure how to break this because it's such a happy moment for us. 157, guys. She did tame up above a wild max level. So we have 7 levels on a max wild Pteranodon using raw meat. I'd say it was a good haul, but as I get her back to the base, I've got a rather sad story to tell you. So imagine a night like no other. You get back to your base only to find something is amiss. And then you find yourself in a fight for your life against a pink and purple chalet. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our fears have been realized, and the chalet made its way to the base while we were away. So I have just finished a rather precarious kiting process, which I shall have you know is not the easiest thing to do to kite a chalet at this level. I don't care if it's level 25 or not. He'll be okay over there for now, but I'm probably going to have to kite him up the hill a little bit so let's go back here and show you what I found as I got back to base. And I don't even know when this happened, but as you can see, as we come up here, subject 1 is not where we left her. And so let's T-whistle her to follow. And let's go survey the damage. Well, the base looks intact, but you'll notice a distinct lack of a few of our other tames. I do believe, and I'll have to check the log, but I think that we have lost Paragon, which we didn't care about the level 5 Iguanodon, but the two Pachys, I think, have been Chalicotherium foddered. Very sad, very sad. We will offer this episode in memoriam to the Pachys that gave all. And next episode, we are dang sure getting our base in order so that this never happens again. Alright, so we got everybody back to the base and on neutral. If the chalet does happen to work it into our base again, it will die this time because all our heavy hitters are back. But I did move it up the hill further, so it's time to get the final piece of the puzzle for our early game tames, and that is a Parasaur. Now, Parasaurs are very easy. Bola, and then shoot them a couple times in the head, the body, whatever. They've got plenty of health. They're not going to die. And they don't have a lot of torpor, so they go out pretty easy. One more shot, maybe. There it is. And Parasaur is very easy, very quick, very tame. I don't really care about the level of the Parasaur because the function of the Parasaur typically, very useful in PvP. But what they do, they have a turret mode that indicates any aggressive creature in the area. And by aggressive, I mean enemy creature, effectively. And so very useful in PvP. But even in PvE, they set them to turret mode, and they will just like that. They'll bark, kind of make a mewing bark sound, and it'll highlight with like a red bullseye any aggressive or enemy creature in the area. Very useful for knowing what's around you that you can't physically see at the time. So just like we've been doing, guys, I'm going to set up, probably put a wooden door barricade across this, a torch, and this will probably take all of about, I don't know, 35 minutes, and she'll be up, or he'll be up. I didn't even check the sex, but that's it. We're going to bring you back when that's done, and we'll be wrapping the episode. Okay, don't judge me, guys, but right over from where we were taming the Perry is this absolutely gorgeous Dillo. And I figured since subject 1 was the only one to survive the chalet attack, we need a subject 2. So here we are, because Dillos are apparently still a really overlooked gem for base defense. Put her on low, but look at her colors. Isn't that gorgeous? Really unique. I am very pleased with that. And she was a 130 pre-tame, so beautiful. But I think we've only got a couple minutes left on our Tek Parry, and then I promise, guys, we are going to close this out with a recap of the family as it is. As you can see, I've hit a couple more loot drops. Got a nice little ramshackle terrorbird saddle there, and the ever-present Gallimimus saddles that we always get, and nobody ever really wants a Gallimimus, but we're going to get one anyway later on, because they're impossible to tame without high-powered rifle. But yeah, we're going to come over here and watch the Perry pop, and we'll get back to base and close things out. It's been a really good run today, I'd say. I think we did quite a bit and did well to manage the time of the around the Pteranodon tame for to maximize the efficiency of our time usage. We've gotten so much done, and despite losing a little bit of it, it was I think arguably the least important of what we have done. The low level iguanodon and the two Pachys, which were just for fun anyway. It's not a huge loss. It is still an indication that I was a little irresponsible. I definitely was a little irresponsible not to get the base um, secured, and so lessons learned. Yeah, she is about to pop maybe one or two more feeds, but we all live with the decisions we make in ARC. From new players to vets, we all know every choice we make bears a risk with it. And typically you can run the full course of the early game without setting up a full perimeter around your starter base. But if you want to play it fully safe, you count for every eventuality. And I did not do that, and it cost me a couple tames. But one more any second now, she will pop. They eat a lot like dodos. There she is. Boom. Well, what do you call your blue Tek Parasaur, but Vector Blue? Right, now you're going to see something cool here as we do this. On top of being awesome turret or warning systems, the other primary reason to get a Parasaur, Pteranodon Parasaur, I've been saying Pteranodon so much, is they have very excellent weight and health and stamina. So you see that 740 weight. These guys are fantastic pack mules early on, and it will not be long from one of these beacons we are going to get a saddle. And but even without the saddle, you just put her on follow, and she can carry stacks of stone, metal, wood, whatever. We're going to put all this stuff on her. It's not even going to phase her weight. And we haven't pumped it. I'll probably pump her at least to 1,000. But yeah, pack mule. I like parasaurs. They're great. They're not very excellent in combat. They're not great berry pickers, though they can do the job if they're all you've got at the first. But they can definitely hold all that weight. Look at that. It didn't even basically phase her. Okay. Well, anyway, well, let's get everybody on follow and get them all back to the base, and we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Well, we are back at base, and we have the full remaining crew assembled. And I've got to say that from the time we woke up on the beach till now has been about six and a half total hours of gameplay. I'd say it's not a bad haul for 6 hours of gameplay to go to Forge, Smithy, and to have this spread of dinos tamed, all with the base materials, raw meat, berries. I think we did pretty good, guys. So, starting in the next episode, we are hitting it hot and heavy with a speed leveling phase, and we're going to get this base shipshape. Until then, farewell, as we pay tribute to our fallen. Later, guys.